The RiConfigure project is about new actors and new constellations in research and innovation. We want to understand the criteria of success that drive actors into new forms of collaboration. We want to understand the roles that actors are playing, how they are changing. We want to understand the types of constellations that are emerging. And we do all that in order to give advice on good collaboration practice, responsibility in terms of societal engagement, and governance of new constellations. Back in the day, grassroots movement had to protest and pressure governments for decades before windmills were taken seriously as part of the energy system. Eventually, the windmill adventure took off and became a great commercial success. But decades were wasted in a battle about prestige and control over the energy system. Today, we see universities engaging directly and much more openly with social innovators and citizen groups to develop products and business models for addressing, for example, plastic pollution or other scourges of modern society, often with public funding and backing. This is a conscious attempt to harness synergies and to overcome lock-in through cross-sectoral collaborations, and we see these types of collaborations emerging in many different forms. Now, the challenge is that these different constellations are emerging from all places at once. There's really no common conceptual framework for understanding and navigating them. So, while collaboration is a plus that we all want to achieve, reality is setting in. Collaboration failure does happen, and practical guidance is often lacking. So while we assume there is some correlation between cross-sectoral collaboration and societal responsibility, we don't know if that assumption holds up in practice and how it holds up. It is unclear what policymakers should do or shouldn't do to support these new constellations. So the objectives of RiConfigure are to engage with stakeholders that are currently engaged in such new constellations. We want to learn from them to provide conceptual clarity about these new constellations. We want to spread practical lessons about what works and what doesn't work. We want to identify and reach out to key stakeholders to train them in these good practices. And we want to involve and support policymakers to inspire new forms of research and innovation governance. If we're successful, RiConfigure will enable the diversification of actors and stakeholders in research and innovation processes. We will help to spread good practices among actors and stakeholders involved in new constellations, and we might even help the transformation of governance frameworks that affect actors and stakeholders involved in these new constellations underway. You can learn more about the RiConfigure project by going to www.riconfigure.eu or following us on social media.